Welcome back to Get in the Lab. It's been 2 weeks.
No, pass the
Oh,
aisle.
yeah, shoot. That's how tired I am.
You went back in time.
I went way back in time.
We had a pretty good hiatus.
Totally
Good
forgot where we're
2-week
at.
break. Yeah. Wow, Get in the Lab. That was a throwback. Throwback Sunday.
Throwback Sunday.
I was like waiting for you to catch it.
Yeah. All right, welcome back to Hustle and Love, guys.
No!
Oh,
How many things I
Oh,
made.
man. What else?
I'm gonna need my water for this. Oh yeah.
All right, guys.
What other shows did I have? God damn it.
Yeah, welcome back, guys, to Pass the Aisle.
Oh, okay, cool. We're back in the
Yeah,
present.
I'm Kevin,
I'm Meg.
and we just took you back to freaking 10 years ago when we had Get in the Lab, and you had Hustle and Love, and
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
that long ago.
yeah,
It's probably like 2010 when we
still long. It's long ago.
didn't know what we were doing, and we still don't know what we're doing.
You never know. Never know. But all we gotta be is grateful. So that leads
Grateful,
us
yeah.
to our topic for today.
Yeah.
How to be
Grateful.
grateful
Yeah.
and to be grateful.
Yeah. We had a 2-week break to kind of figure out. I think it was really necessary too. I didn't really plan it, but I think it was a good, when you commit to something, and we're learning this too, that we have this space to work out our stuff, but also not to keep talking about it. Like, didn't feel good to just like quiet.
You mean picking at it?
Picking at this scab, like, exactly. That's a great way to look at it, because it felt like I kept reopening the wound every week almost. So I feel like drained. I keep telling you, I'm like,
So it just never gets to heal. It never gets to.
something keeps popping up. It's
Yeah.
business, it's marriage, it's something. And I felt I had a little like depressed moments, chronically sad moments.
Yeah.
When I was thinking like, is it gonna get better?
Uh-huh.
And gratitude did bring me back.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you like that one post I shared yesterday on our group, and how
I did. Yeah, I like
everyone's
that.
it was pretty cool how it laid out.
Why don't you remind us what
Do
for the audience?
you want me to read it out?
Not the whole thing. Just sum it up. Sum it up. Yeah.
So it was just saying that everyone has their own life. Everyone has their own race to win. So at the end of the day, you shouldn't think about others. You shouldn't think about catching up to other people, even though they're ahead of you by
like
2 steps.
comparing.
Yeah, like don't compare yourself. For example, like when it comes to photography for me, and when we started this company, once I knew what I wanted, once I knew the direction that I wanted to take the company in terms of style, the term of couples or clients that we like to attract, I never look at anyone else. I never liked to be compared when I was a kid, and I didn't want to be compared when I was in business. So it's a very demotivating when parents compare kids to other kids, and the kids are just so little, they haven't caught on yet, but then once they're at a certain age, they do catch up, saying that I hate that feeling when you do compare me to someone that's better than me.
Or they internalize it and be like, oh, I'm not as good as so-and-so. Or
Yeah.
that person's making more money. Or
a lot of that happens during childhood, and a lot of that happens still in your career when you apply for a new job and your boss is like, oh, you're not at that level yet, you know? Or sometimes like, oh, you got to follow this person because this person knows it all. This person is doing well. And then it's like incognito comparing to the point that, yeah, you just kind of feel like, man, like how long is it going to take me to get there, right?
I'm always failing
Yeah.
or something.
It's like feeling hopeless.
Yeah.
So this article that I found is just saying to always focus on yourself.
Yeah.
Apply self-care, know your own self-values, and just be the best version of yourself as much as you can throughout your life. And you're going to be facing challenges, these challenges where you don't realize that you're actually helping other people, and you're helping others way so much that you forget about yourself.
Yeah.
And you feel lost when it comes back and realizing that, oh, I haven't been paying attention to myself.
Yeah.
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 And that's the feeling of where you'll feel hopeless, drained, not feeling that you can succeed in your goals.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what the article summed.
Yeah.
And it's at the end of the day, it's all up to you to win your own race.
Right.
Yeah.
You can only control your own world. Like over these last couple of weeks, I had time to reflect, really dig into the negative side of thinking. And it feels good for like a couple hours. You're like, yeah, fuck them, fuck that, fuck it all. We are brought to that point a lot because we have such a high standard. We have judgmental personalities, like in our personality quiz or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have such a standard, I think, of the people that we're often disappointed. But I feel like now that we've had time to reflect, I feel like all of these challenges that we're facing together or with other people, it's like it's there for a reason, because it makes sense too. Like if we're impatient people, judgmental people, can spiral down in our thinking or be paranoid or be too strict, right? Like that's kind of like our default mode.
Yeah.
So we are given certain people or situations or whatever that will challenge that so that we can learn to get out of that.
Yeah.
Right. So in order for us to get out of these ruts or patterns, feeling of burnout that we often feel every time around this year when it's about to get crazy and just before holiday, we go through this every year. And I was like, okay, so until you learn the lesson, you're going to keep getting that same thing over and over again, just like chronic pain or something. But we have chronic pain in our business.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, cool. So I must learn how to accept or surrender to whatever the universe trying to tell me, and go, okay, so this person who may be challenging me in my worldview, how I see the world, or how I even view photography, or how we should run a business, like they're there to challenge me so that I can learn patience and compassion or forgiveness. Otherwise, I'll just keep doing the same shit, like me personally, and then how we play off of one another, how we can keep doing the same things because we can feed into each other in that way, in a negative way. And that's why we deal with this every year. So I was like, okay, cool. So if this is our challenge and we're having a hard time, it's just because it's not our default to be that way. So we have to learn it. And that's why
we have to learn it. And I feel the more people that we invite into our team, or the more people we have that we're working with, each person is different. And that goes for the same with what the article said. Everyone is at their own pace, right? So when you put a bunch of people together, everyone's working at different pace. Mm-hmm. And that's always the challenge, and that's always the frustration of life, is that, like, how can you be one unit? How can you work together with an even ground? And it's always hard. It's never going to be an even ground.
Yeah.
And now this ties in with being patient with one another.
Accepting it.
Yeah, and accepting it that no one's like you and you are not like them. And they're also in their own mindset thinking about us or thinking about you or me, that we're not like them either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
they have their own frustrations that they're dealing with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it starts with us. So I wrote an article explaining that I kind of hit the nail on the coffin, saying I don't think you even really want it. It was really for me and what I wanted to do for the company and what I wanted to do for you, and which was our 10th anniversary gratitude party. I wanted to do like a big event and everything, but this idea was so in the clouds, and I hadn't even put any real work towards it because I knew it was going to be really difficult. And then the more that I had this vision of like, oh, let's go party, let's go celebrate this thing that we've done, the more like scary and nervous, and I feel like we don't even deserve it also sometimes because we're having such turmoil just between us. So I was like, I don't want to do it. But I was building up this story in my mind like, oh, if I don't do it, does she like think whatever? I couldn't even complete the sentence, but I knew it wasn't good. Or I was telling myself it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like if I don't follow through with what I say, because I like to be a person where like if I say I'm going to do it, I do it.
Yeah.
That's the standard that I hold myself to. So when I was like, I don't think I want to do this, and I was like waiting for you to say something, whatever, like you were just like, yeah, we don't need to do that, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, phew, good.
Yeah.
Good. So like I didn't feel like a pressure anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And it was getting so close, and it was really like unrealistic, really, to want to do that sort of thing. And when we haven't really deserved it, I think in the end it kind of felt like a ego stroking, entitlement, and I feel like we didn't really need to put money or energy behind a party. What we really need to do is put it back into each other, so that if we're talking about gratitude and acceptance, can we exercise that with each other?
Yeah.
And we just haven't been doing that for a long time holistically.
Yeah.
In little bits, yes, because we're learning, right? So in little bits we're making little steps and things like that, and I see that and I feel that, but on a whole scale, because everything is new, that's where I felt like, oh, I need to take a step back. I'm not there yet. We're not there yet as a business and as a couple. So that's what needs to be focused on right now. It's not a bad thing. It's just it feels very good to go, okay, cool. Like I don't need to be doing all this flashy look at me stuff.
Yeah.
That's fake almost, right?
So, well, I mean, when you first presented, I was never, I wasn't opposed to it, but for me, what I went through when you first presented is like, I'm not really good at saying speeches. I'm not really good at saying, thank you, and like unfamiliar faces, or we have personal connections with our couples, but it's not like we know them as we are like, you know, friends or something, to the point where I have something to say, other than, I appreciate all my couples that believe in us to be their photographers for their wedding day. No doubt about that. But other than that, I feel like I don't.
Well, I know that's why I was like, you know, we're doing so much outside of ourselves to prove that we're this like company, blah blah blah, like, you know, try to put on all these awards and accolades on it and shit, like 10 years, whatever, but really it's honestly like you don't even have time to remember, like you just said, right? Like, and it's not your fault that you don't have anything meaningful to say about every single one of your clients. It's because we don't have time. We haven't made time to make each one of these moments, I guess, more lasting in your memory, because it's always like, I got to do one thing, another, like this, right? So it's like there's no time to really cherish the moment and be grateful about like, oh, thank you so much for hiring us. And just with each other. There's so much that is just expected or default mode, or every day is game mode. Every moment, every minute is answer the email. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, There's no time to cherish. There's no time to be present. There's no time to feel appreciated on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
So we must start with each other. It starts with us. Like, we create that first ripple where finally we can heal all of that stuff in the past and just move forward instead of reliving this cycle, which is really toxic, actually.
Yeah.
And I feel myself before, even just days ago, falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
But then just being able to see and feel gratitude, I think, in a genuine way.
Yeah.
And like, you know, for yourself personally, you have to find out, like, what does that mean? What does it even mean to feel gratitude? And when I was sitting there writing the article, I was like super emotional because I was like, I don't really know. You know, I don't really know what it looks and feels like or sounds like because we don't really do it, which was scary. It was like, oh my God, or it's sad, you know, like, oh my God, I don't even know how to be grateful.
Well,
What's wrong? You know, what's wrong? That's what I would feel when I'm writing it.
I mean, we did celebrate gratefulness when we first moved into our home. Yeah, we did celebrate the housewarming and everything. And that's a feeling of...
I'm not really talking about a party. Like, I'm talking about there's a genuine feeling of, like, just for me personally, like, for you to go to the meeting today.
Yeah.
And for me to actually just be not thinking so much like, I don't know, it was weird. Like, it was a different feeling. I'm so grateful that she is healthy enough to go to the meeting. So it's just little things, like little tiny things that a lot of these things were taken away from me in the last week when my back seized up and all this stuff. Like little things like that. I never experienced that before, where I literally could not walk.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is different. So I'm so grateful that you're able to just walk, you know, or sit down.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're able to do it. So I'm like, whoa, that's great. Like, what if that happened to you?
Yeah.
What if your back seized up for some reason?
I will go crazy and probably think of ways to fix it. Just
like
you.
What I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
But like, see, so it's a good balance, because whatever I'm going through or dealing with, you don't deal with that. You don't deal with chronic pain. You don't deal with any of that stuff, which is great because it allows us to move still.
Yeah.
But if you had it, oh man, if we both had it, if you had some other thing that didn't,
well, we both had it, we'll be in a different profession for sure. But
you know, but if it hit you all of a sudden,
yeah.
So I was like, dude, I'm so grateful that you can even just go.
But yeah, even if that was happen, like, we just can't think. I mean, of course, that's like a futuristic thing, but life has given us a journey to the point that we are knowledgeable of the ins and outs of running this business. So if anything was to happen to me or you, it's we just, you know, hire someone to fill in, and it's trainable because we already went through the ins and outs of everything for this business.
Well, yeah. I mean, plan Bs or whatever, contingency plans and stuff like that. But the way that we run our life, you know, or even not have to worry about kids. Yeah. Like, I'm so grateful for that. Like, I'll just be lying around sometimes and just be like, oh, I'm so relaxed, and be so grateful for that. For that, you know, or that everybody was working yesterday and I was doing my thing, which was answering emails, checking systems, checking this, double checking that. Like, oh yeah, cool. This is what it's supposed to be. Because I thought about when I was shooting and I was like, all these inquiries were coming in and nobody's answering
until
the next day. Because I'm tired, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I just like that things are falling into place. And
yeah, back in the day, if I had an inquiry, I'll be responding through the phone. Like, I'll have a template or I'll just wait till I get home from the wedding and then I'll respond like at 11 at night or something.
But you're tired and maybe you make a mistake. Maybe you double book like you have before. Like, you know, when you're not paying attention. There's plenty of times when I was not paying attention, like answering emails in the massage chair, right? And just like, it's nice. We have these little moments where I'm like, oh, thank God, like I'm answering this email in my office It's my own space. I get to listen to my own music. Like those little moments, exercising gratitude that we get to do this thing on our terms, right? Completely on our terms, really. So it's been nice.
Yeah, I mean that's nice. I can't imagine. They always say like our friends that have kids or something. I just can't. Like, I mean, our dear friend have one kid, and they just, I mean, she's in daycare, right? So they're able to do their thing. But if she was there with them, like throughout the day during their work schedule, I just can't see how
things can. Jobs, you know, it's trying to work 2 jobs.
Yeah, how can you progress in what you want to do or where you want to reach, right? Yeah. And where is the line that you draw, you know, between taking care of a child that's yours that you want a bright future for, right? Yeah. And you have a business, right? Yeah. I only have one experience from my childhood, right? And it wasn't like they were really there because they did prioritize the business over taking care of me, which is, I mean, it's not like I'm not against that or anything in a way that
it still sucks, right?
It still sucks in some ways, but in some ways I had a lot of freedom as a kid. Yeah. I was able to be more street smart versus being a kid that was cooped up in a room and just learn numbers or whatever, right? So it was all... Life has its own ways for each person.
It is what it is. Like,
yeah, it is what it is. And
for somebody who's sheltered, versus somebody like you, like a latchkey kid, like, it's like it is what it is. You can't even argue. Now that I think about it, it's like you can't argue the benefits or cons of both sides. Yeah, both sides are equally conned and benefited. Yeah, and it is what it is.
But the world balances.
It balances, right?
Yeah, your life balances somehow.
You have to accept it, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you have a balance of the norm in society, and then you have your world.
Well, I guess it kind of answers your question. Like, how do you live a life where you have a child and you have a business? Mm-hmm. It's whatever you want it to be, right?
Yeah, whatever you want it to be.
Not to fault yourself.
And don't compare yourself. Right. Because it won't make sense. Because your life with your spouse and your whatever world is your world. You can't compare your world with another family. Yeah. Because their world is different jobs, different personalities,
different upbringing, all that shit.
And all that. So it would never be the same. So when I did speak to my cousin and how he already has almost 3 kids, but he only has 2 kids right now, right? Uh-huh. He's like, yeah, you just teach them the way you want to teach them. They're going to be you. Yeah, they're going to be a replica of both of you, and that's the world that they're going to be living in for the next 5 to 6 years. You know,
only 5 and 6 years, and after 6 you kick them out.
Well, I would imagine after 6, they're in the world of kindergarten and first grade that they're off on their own for 8 hours. So,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. You know,
they're still coming home.
Yeah, they're still coming home, but I'm just saying, like, majority of their life after 6 will be at school.
I see. Yeah. So does that change your view on kids?
In some ways, but then I still have the fear that it's freaking hard. Like, I'm already tired as it is, and then to have this time just alone, just the 2 of us of hanging out and talking, I could only imagine that some kid will be like screaming right now, and we won't be able to speak, or or me going straight to like just wanting to hang out, taking off somewhere. There's going to be extra steps. Yeah. So, I think life.
I don't want to take.
I think life with a kid will be even quicker than what our life is now.
Yeah, for
it will be more quicker because now you're adding more things into your agenda for each day. Yeah. And I mean, I can see those that have an established business, that they're just managers and they just manage the company that they built, and they have a system going, right? Where they don't have to be there all the time, and how that works. It's a little slower. But where we're at currently, I feel like we're still I'm still the technician. I'm still the artist. You're almost like the manager in a way that you manage emails, you manage all these systems, right?
Yes, I have upgraded to manager.
Yeah, you're there,
Yeah.
But then I feel like I'm not there.
But you don't want to be.
But I don't want to be, because
because you're the artist.
I'm very nomadic, in a way that how my mind is like always traveling.
Yes.
And I'm a daydreamer by heart, like for sure.
Yeah.
It just never works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a way that how I see it, it's, I mean, that kid will have to basically catch up to either anyone, and you can't determine that, right? Like when a kid is born, it's either one of us or they're in their own personality. It's like they're
I
just
don't know shit.
Yeah, you don't know shit. Yeah, just like my cousin's
children.
kid, like like one is very energetic and then the other one is just really chill.
Yeah.
So you just don't know which one matches you, and if they want to even follow along, or they're going to be rebellious, and then you have a lot of hands on with this person. So
yeah. You're definitely not.
But
ready.
it is
I think parenthood suits certain people,
mm-hmm.
and then it's okay that it's not something you're suited to or something that you want.
Yeah. I mean, it's like yourself when you said you're conditioned, right? I would say I'm not conditioned. I mean, like I'm more on the no side than the yes side, just because.
What do you mean by I'm conditioned?
Well, you said you're like either or, right?
Conditional.
Yeah, you're conditional.
Yeah, to me it'd be like I always said this before I even met you.
Yeah.
I know I could be a mother.
Yeah.
But it'd have to depend on the partner that I'm with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if the partner that I'm with is not like wanting it also, then why would I want it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at, but I'm more on the no side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm more on the no side too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So
It would, like I'd be more like if you say, for example, if you were open to having children, I'd be like, I don't know, let me see. I need to get ready. I need to prepare for that. I will open myself
Same
to that
here.
conversation, but
same here.
I'm already on the no side.
Because I feel like life has to be a little slower for me in order to really take it all in. Like life is a little too fast right now. If we can't even barely enjoy our times together, how the hell are we going to enjoy our times with a kid? Like it's like so fast right now. Like,
what do you mean by fast?
It's just our lifestyle.
Fast,
right?
Like you working a lot or whatever?
Yeah, like the moment Monday starts, boom, a bunch of agendas.
Yeah.
And Monday through Saturday, right? Yeah.
And
then Sunday is thankfully, or just one or 2 days out of the week, most times are like just relaxing.
But wouldn't you say that you've designed your life to be fast?
I've
slowed down my life because I'm separated from you.
Yeah.
Like I realize now that I take on your tendencies because I'm an adaptive sort of water-like person.
Yeah.
I can like adapt to any environment that I'm in.
Yeah.
It's not always sustainable, obviously, because that's why we're separate, right?
Yeah.
But like I definitely have the tendency to be like, oh, cool, like that's the team I want to be on. Like I would just be that.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to explain this to you in the garden, and I was like, oh, so what am I really? Like, who am I really? Like, what's my identity? So if I've been following your pace of life, right, and trying to catch up to you, like in the article, then I haven't really been true, or haven't really discovered, or
your path.
Me, yeah. What's my pace, right? So I think you've designed your life to be fast.
Or I was conditioned to be fast.
Whatever, right?
Yeah, whatever.
You've designed it that way, though. So you make decisions every day that say answer the email within 1 second or whatever, right? Like so you have a very fast-paced perspective, which turns your life fast.
Yeah, actually, I mean, it's very true what you say, because in college I was the same way. I was not a procrastinator. I would just be ahead of the game all the time. Yeah. So it would just...
But you said you had to be, right? Because, it didn't come easy. Nursing didn't come easy. You had to work for your grades. You really had to study.
Yeah, I mean, initially, prior to getting into the program, you have to be excellent.
Yeah.
If you don't want to pay a pretty penny and just want to get into a Cal State and pay the regular price, you have to be excellent. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I remember when I met you, and we were in college, right? And I was like, "Dang, you study for a long time," because I would study for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was enough. And I wasn't like, I'm not in like a nursing program. I'm just in like a health science program. So I was like, I don't even know how to study.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how to be in a room and study this for more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So a lot of my stuff, like, it's not like I'm a procrastinator, but I would know back in college my own pace.
Yeah.
I could write a paper in a night, but not be stressed about it.
But here's the thing, like, the difference was I wasn't passionate into it, so not everything stick in my head. So that's why
that too is boring. You know? It's like,
I definitely wasn't. I was in a wrong major that I wasn't passionate or felt the driven. I was just driven that I got accepted into the program, and I was driven that I was able to do like hands-on stuff. That was the cool thing. Like, I'm very technical when it comes to like that drives me. I found things in nursing that I liked and things that I didn't like.
Oh yeah, you have to, right?
Yeah, obviously I didn't like the textbook stuff.
But the practical
and that's
stuff.
why it took me so long to study and everything. And on top of that, they already said, they already warned you, don't get into a relationship when you're in the nursing program because you're not going to have a life for the next 3 years. And some of it was true, some of it wasn't. I mean, we were able to manage our life throughout the nursing program, and it wasn't too bad. But
I mean, you were pretty good about, I have to study. I was like, dope, and I just go to my room.
Yeah,
because I'm really good at being by myself. So it wasn't a problem on my end. I don't think. I don't ever ask you like, oh, why are you studying, or you're taking too long.
Yeah.
I mean, I would notice you take long studying, and I would be like, what am I doing? Like, I'd be studying only 30 minutes.
Yeah. But I can't imagine going back to that, though. Couldn't imagine going back to that, though. So.
But yeah, anyway. So going back to my point is, like, if you are saying that your life is fast, it's because you've designed it that way. But you have, I mean, it's not a bad thing. If it's pressuring you, I encourage you, like, you can make it a little bit more slower. You know, it's all up to you, and nobody's judging you. Yeah,
no one's judging me, and I get to control the pace.
100%. Yeah,
of course, because the business is solely a reflection of us. So, but I've adapted, and this is what I'm comfortable with. If I feel like we need to slow down, then we can be a little slower. But as of right now, I feel like it's pretty manageable this year versus all the previous years.
Even though you say you're so tired and so
that's tired.
It's
because it's
or you're just belly aching, like
No, it's mainly because there's only certain seasons where it's ideal to shoot an engagement session, and it's just engagement season. You know, wedding has its wedding season, and it wasn't engagement season for the past 4 months. So that's why it was like slower, and then now you're just like really everything just kind of got thrown on your plate.
Yeah.
So it's just that.
So it's belly aching.
Yeah, it's belly aching, building up before the year end, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I did recognize that, because I think part of my job as being manager, or being able to be outside of the technician's wheel, because you just run in your wheel, right? Like a hamster. So I'm outside of the wheel now. So I would think it's my job to be like, hey, are you okay? Like,
Mm-hmm.
are you all right? You know, so for me to be able to recognize what it really means when you're tired, because you have a really good, I guess, like suppression, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want you to just burn out, you know.
Yeah.
And definitely we've shown with each other that a burnout mind leads to really bad decision making,
Yeah.
or just feeling toxic,
Just bitter.
just
Yeah.
bitter
And toxic.
and not
Yeah.
feeling good, right? So
Yeah.
like, I want to be wiser to that moving forward, and I think that's what my article was about for me as well. Like I was saying, it's like to put a bow on it, to make acknowledgement of this new step forward, of just realizing, oh, we've been in this rut. We can come out of this rut.
Yeah.
We have to just be able to sidestep and still do our thing, still do our shit, but like mentally be not so burnt out, not so negative, not so toxic, or feeling so like, oh, the world's crashing, or that gets tiring.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes us tired. I don't think it's necessarily you being an artist or shooting engagements. It's the mental fortitude it takes to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure, like, because we're at the top basically, and we are the only ones responsible for one, our own happiness. So me, I have to make sure that I'm responsible for my own happiness, and then you too. And then as a unit, that's something separate.
Yeah.
As a married couple and as a unit running this company. Like, so I just want to make sure, like, all these little bubbles that we have, they're in their own little bubbles. They're not stepping on each other, and that they're living cohesively in our mind, and they're not like overflowing into one or bursting in another. Just want it to be nice environment in here.
Yeah.
So that all the decisions that we make, you know, coming from this really nice, stable mindset is good, not negative.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just like checking in. Oh, okay, that's belly aching, or versus, oh, you're really tired.
Yeah.
We really need to change something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's a big difference. Like if you're really tired of shooting certain things, then we made those changes, right? So those are the things that I want to prick my ear to and be like, pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Versus just, oh my God, there's another meeting. Like, you know, that's just what we do as humans. Like, I'm tired, you know, like, or just belly aching. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're really tired or something's really bothering you, I need to be able to like distinguish that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can make changes,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. Just make life. Yeah.
Yeah.
On cruise control.
Not cruise control, but just, you know, when we see this thing, we can move.
Yeah.
We don't have to keep hitting it. Like, why are they here again and again and again? Yeah, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like also discovering your outlets. I recently got into soap making, and it really turns off my mind. I mean,
Good.
It's just all about playing with colors. It's like painting or drawing back in the day when you were a kid, but now, you know, soap making it's involved, but you can be quiet. You can just be silent. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
And then you caught me in the moment of just experimenting. So
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, there are moments when I find that in me, in a lot of little things that I do, and I realize that you didn't have that. You didn't have that for yourself. So finally, when we were able to do the soap making thing, and that's me too, you know, like for me to pay attention because you're not as vocal or as expressive. So, and I think that's why I talk a lot, or that I've learned this skill of talking. So to enable and help and advocate others to talk, to speak their truth, and to help them realize what they want. Like with Jenna too, or like anybody on the team. They feel like a lot of them don't allow themselves a voice.
Yeah.
So I talk so much. So I think it's a gift of mine that I can share with others and encourage others. Oh, I see that you want to say something.
Yeah.
Or you haven't given yourself permission. I give them the permission, because sometimes you need that. Sometimes I need that. Like Tony will give me permission, and I'm like, oh yeah, so silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like to just help people open the door and discover, oh, okay, cool, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes we need somebody to say, it's okay, you can go.
Yeah.
Silly, but it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Small thing, but powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the soap thing, I'm excited for you to make soap and just do your thing. And then you come back and you're probably all like, look what I made, or like refreshed or whatever. Yeah. And you just did it on your own.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm excited for you to experience that finally.
Yeah. I'm excited for your roaster coming in like 2 weeks. So yeah. Let's see how this thing works.
There's a lot of kinks to work out with it. And I'm excited for the challenge because it's going to be wholly my creation. I think my dad's going to help me out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to work on it together and make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
And ready. And then I think when all the dust is settled, then we're going to be rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for right now, I'm learning patience and reading everything that I can and just being open. Because there's all these obstacles in the way, for sure, about this roaster. And I'm just like, I haven't gotten frustrated yet. I'm like, okay, I don't know the answer to that. Okay, I just later.
Yeah.
I have time. It's okay. Like, I don't feel a time bomb on it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, my question to you is, you know, I always said that you can have your roaster somewhere else, but then, yeah, the comfort of your own home will always be the best. Mm-hmm. But we're running through all these different obstacles to try and adjust. Yeah. Are you still open to that option of having your roaster somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm open. I'm open. Yeah.
I think it will be, you know, it will once you're out there roasting, it's just you.
I just want that for sure. Like I explained to you, I was like, and I've explained this to other people as I've had time to really like look at plans, look at this, look at that, draw it out, like working out everything in my mind, going through the roast process. To me, if we get the safety down, which is the ventilation and all that and the heat and all that stuff, it needs to be squared away. And I'm open to any solution that makes that 100% like done. Yeah. That way I can put 100% of my energy into the roast. Yeah. That's my number one goal. I don't want to worry about heat or smoke or shit like that. I just want to get into the roast, and when I put on my hat and I put on my apron, like I'm there. Because you have to be by the second, at least in 10 seconds, paying attention to what's going on. Yeah. Right? Otherwise, you could mess it up.
Yeah.
Or not mess it up, but like not do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be just in that, get to that point where I don't have to worry about foundation stuff.
Yeah.
Or like, oh shit, this is happening. Then it takes me away from roasting or paying attention. So that's my number one goal. That's my big picture goal with the whole roaster. Wherever it ends up, wherever I end up being, is just to check all those boxes of safety so I can be confident, comfortable, and safe. Mm-hmm. That way, those are done. Now I can focus completely. Cool. Yeah. That's what I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm open to it. Whatever happens.
Yeah.
That fool's on wheels. Like he's on wheels. So he can go anywhere, you know, like me, I can go anywhere too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be easier because you have your entire system here, but your system can be also elsewhere as well.
Yeah. I mean, nothing is permanent, right?
Yeah.
So, and like I just say to you, you can design it exactly the way that you need to design it. I don't have to be married to all these initial feelings, initial designs.
Yeah.
Everything will evolve and change. Otherwise, I'm the only one that suffers, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I think about the big picture, which is I want to be 100% dialed in. Okay, cool. Because that's my passion or that's my purpose. So how can I eliminate all those other things that I don't really need to be so stingy about? Yeah. I will be stingy about my roast and stuff like that, but nothing else.
Yeah.
And then knowing that I say it to myself is more freeing. I feel freer I don't feel scared to make decisions about it anymore.
I just thought of something that would be really cool.
What?
I'll just let it out, though.
You're just thinking out loud.
Yeah, thinking out loud.
Well, I'm not married to anything, remember?
Yeah, you're not married to anything. It's just an idea.
I'm only married to you. So
I was just thinking like a business with like 10 roasters, like the roaster that you have, and everyone just comes in and roasts their own coffee.
Yeah.
I never seen that done.
It's called a roast club.
Yeah.
We're going to call it the Tiger Roast Club.
I actually never seen it, so I just thought of it. Yeah.
I was thinking
because more and more people are just roasting their own stuff, right? So why not?
It's a co-working.
Yeah, it's a co-working.
Roast space.
Yeah, roast space. Man, take that out of the video, because it hasn't been done. But I just thought of it because more and more people were roasting their stuff from home. So, but then they probably go through a lot of shit that they can't roast like in a space like us, so they can exercise their brain and go to a roast space. Yeah. And boom.
Yeah. Well, we already have a roast space, don't we, in our studio?
No, it's not. It can't be because it's strictly offices. It's not a food and beverage place.
But we're not even we're just packaging. Does that make the cut? It's cottage food. It's not really food. So I looked it up. It's called cottage food. So you're basically just preparing food that's already technically made.
I don't like dealing with that landlord though. He's like charging up stupid camp fees up the wazoo for
it's time to go then, isn't it?
For stupid things. So if you introduce something that requires to go through his ceiling, he's going to like think of other things to charge us for. So I was like, no.
Well, okay, so since I'm open, you must be thinking of something.
To
put it where?
No, to find a warehouse like that and freaking have a roaster club.
Oh.
That would be cool.
But it has to be a roaster club now? Like, what about just for me?
For you, we'll always be there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, freaking 7-8 roasters or whatever, right? Yeah.
But I'm only going to have one.
Yeah, you have yours. Like,
okay.
But
they got to bring their own roaster.
No, we supply it. That's a part of the business.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe like in a couple
$75 a month, just like Sender One.
That's cheap. You need to increase it.
Well, they only get it for 1 hour.
$75 an hour?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
No, $75. Like, you have to fit your time slots.
In an hour?
Yeah, but you have to cap only 1 hour. I mean, one visit per day. Yeah. There's rules, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I'm concerned about what I'm going to do in about 3 weeks.
No, but yeah, you'll have your own roaster, your own space. It's a way to fund a building that you don't have to pay for it. You know, I'm always thinking about ways to find things that we're already doing, make it convenient where it pays for itself and it pays for our bills that we don't need to worry about.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's your specialty.
Like, I'm always like, oh, okay, we're moving here. All right, I'll find supplemental things that will just pay it on its own so we can just live our life without thinking that it's not paid for.
Word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we can do whatever you want.
So with a roaster space, if you want a legit place where, you know, like the the county fireman has to come and inspect and everything's all good to go. And like that's
that HVC man to come and install that shit.
That would just be more ideal, and that's the space forever, you know, like
word. Yeah. That'd be great. Yeah, that's within driving distance that you're not stuck in traffic trying to get to. Yeah, that's my main, I guess, fear. Yeah, with it being like in another location is thinking about, oh, am I going to be stuck in traffic because where we live?
It will be like the most amazing, most innovative idea.
Yeah, because I did not design my life that way.
Yeah,
to be stuck in traffic.
But yeah, to have a roaster club, like you said.
Yeah,
and you can do workshops, you can do teaching, you can share knowledge. You can share your knowledge.
I do like to teach.
And then we can create 8 spaces. So each roaster will have their own roaster. Yeah.
Cool.
But then alongside with workshops, it's like people from Bodie or something. Like there's a partnership. Like, you want to learn how to roast? We'll be going to the roaster club and will be teaching there, so they can host events at this place.
Yeah.
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 Like, it's not done yet, right? It's a different wave in the coffee business, right?
Perhaps, yeah.
But I'm more of like thinking of those lines. You can still be you in it. Like, it's not even touching your roaster aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just more just an idea. Until we apply it, then it's something else. But it's very approachable for sure.
What about an idea for me? You're thinking about other people.
The idea for you is to get that building, right? But then I'm having that club to funnel your space that you can work freely, and the rent is already paid for, and you just do whatever you do. It's like done.
I see.
Yeah.
But that doesn't come till later. Like, what about right now? Do you have any ideas right now?
No, it's just here. But I just thought about that. It's weird how things just come.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things come.
Yeah, a lot of things come.
Now I just let them kind of pass through me.
Yeah. But I think that's like the best thing in the industry that I haven't came across yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's gratitude.
Yeah. Well, what about on your end? I think I've shared how I feel. And again, you always never share anything.
Share about what?
You just talk, like you haven't said anything about being grateful or nothing.
Well,
because you're not grateful.
I am grateful.
Maybe you don't know also what it looks and sounds and feels like also.
Well, every time I sit and I make a sandwich and I eat and stare at those trees in our backyard, I'm pretty grateful where I'm at. Yeah.
Those are your moments.
Yeah, those are my moments of calming down and I'm grateful that I get, like, when I travel out far for shoots, like, I remember I would die to go travel to interesting places, like, but now I'm like doing it. Yeah. Or I remember in high school, I was like, I want a job where I get to dress up, suit up, look nice and shit. And it was weddings.
Where's your suits?
No, but you remember I tried it in the beginning of our younger years, and it was like freaking hot. So I was like, no, I'm not wearing a suit anymore. But anyways, I'm
so happy that you like to dress up also.
But still, you still get to dress up, you know. Yeah, you just want to show your best self.
Yeah, I like that you enjoy fashion also.
Well, because I was like brought up to it as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily grow up with it, so I'm not really sure where it came from, but I love it. I love when we get to dress up, and she did a photo shoot for me because I like photo shoots and dressing up and whatnot. And yeah, it's like what you say, it's like your best self.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't get to see it if you work from home, especially me. I just
I feel people in general don't have the advantage to be shot in their best self.
That's true. Yeah, I was so grateful for that.
Most people don't have time to. That's why when they have engagement session, it's like a valuable time. It's like,
it is very valuable.
Yeah, it's it allows them to like dress up to how they want to be dressed up, to look nice, and also be shot.
Yeah.
Most times they're attending a friend's wedding, but they're not shot. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not in the photos.
Yeah.
But
I love it.
But it's cool.
And you did it so quickly too, Like, I remember before, I feel, and you've been changing in the right direction where it's like you would shoot me, but it's like not my best side, or you wouldn't take the time to find my best side, like to use your photography skills with me. So I would be all like salty after, right?
Yeah.
Like, this looks like shit. You don't even try.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then nowadays, like in the last couple of years, after I told you that, you're like, you actually put your best foot forward and actually taking photos.
Yeah.
And then I love them afterwards.
Yeah.
And then it's nice, like I see, like I get to experience that. I'm so grateful I get to experience like what a bride will go through sometimes, because if she gets her hair done, if she does all this and all that, like whatever, she gets dressed up, and then she's able to capture it with your work.
Yeah.
and then able to look at it and be reminded, because, you know, when you go back to your normal everyday life,
Yeah.
you don't look like that. And so sometimes you don't feel your best.
Yeah.
And sometimes your outward appearance is just an outward appearance, but it can influence the way you feel about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do I feel good in my own skin, good
Yeah.
in my clothes, good in my hair, whatever?
That's very true. I mean, yesterday the couple that I shot, they didn't want me to share their images, but after they received their engagement, they're like, "Yeah, share it." Yeah, it was like I was just very self-conscious, mainly. They were just very self-conscious, and
That's true.
but then once they saw like, how confident they looked in the photo, and
it's different when you feel good, right?
yeah.
When you look good, you feel good.
And
like,
definitely, in photography, you have to have the eye of what looks good.
Yeah.
And that's something is so hard to train someone to say it looks good. You naturally just need to know it looks good. And it
you
takes,
gotta train. You have to train the eye.
you have to train your own, or the eye, and your mental state of, like, you have to train yourself to know what fashion is, and it's not the poses, it's more like
it's partly, but
it's partly, but it's more
force
like
a pose, and
you can force a pose and it doesn't look good.
Yeah,
you just need to feel your couples. You have to know your couples.
you have to know what feels good.
Yeah.
If I'm standing like this, but not like, if I look at a picture and like, oh, is it like this? No,
Yeah.
it's like, it's this feeling, right? So there's this sort of
Yeah.
real, genuine feeling that
There
goes
should
into
be a
it.
book called like Speak Your Own Language and Poses or
It should
something.
be called feel, not copy, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, don't just copy,
Yeah.
feel it, you know?
Yeah.
And then when you internalize it and you're like, oh, I've digested what you mean, I understand, and then you execute it, that's what it is.
But that's why photography is such a crazy art. I mean, everything in the art world is complicated and is crazy in their own way when it's made by one individual. So I can understand why when we teach someone, it's very intricate.
Difficult.
Very intricate, yeah, because you're trying to dissect my brain and how I
Takes
think.
years to do that.
Yeah, to think, to act, to whatever apply, right? So, if you're just not born with it, then you're going to go through harder obstacles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the part that I'm grateful of, that that I'm natural at it. Like I just like things and I just do it.
But your talent was still honed. Your skills.
Yeah.
You still had to hone your skills.
I still had to go through.
Still have to understand fashion more.
Yeah, I still had to fit everything.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
There was many things I had to hone in along the way. I wasn't like natural in terms of that, but in like just bring art into perspective then.
Or just seeing something that somebody else can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just creative thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. And you're solving problems when you do that. Like, you're like, how do I make this look expensive?
Yeah.
When it's not.
Yeah.
Right? So you create this illusion with your own mind. And then you manipulate your environment and your subject, which is a person or a product or whatever, and then you make it look expensive.
I would always remember, when we would shoot those Asian banquets, how do we
make it look expensive?
Expensive,
yeah. I remember that. And I think all that stuff, it's like, I didn't know I was training to be like a second photographer, because I was so obsessed with, because I was thinking, where did my fashion come from, or love for fashion come from, when both of my parents like don't give a crap about fashion.
Yeah.
And I would look through, I would draw a lot, and it's always men that I draw because they're easier for me.
Yeah.
I just draw it easier. So, and then I can't just have naked bodies, so I would try to dress them in my drawing, whatever. And then I just pummeled through so many GQ magazines. So many. And that's why finally when I met you, I was like, oh yeah, I'm I know what looks good because I've looked at millions and millions and millions of magazines, men's magazines, right? Like they look good, so I know it looks good. But then still had to train it. Still had to be like, oh, this is real life now, not just theory. I'm not just copying this pose, right? I now have to be in it. I have to feel it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so I don't know where we came with that, but yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's many photographers out there that express themselves through just their photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the body of art.
Yeah.
Twists and turns, and how twists and turns and of your body influences the image itself.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, you know?
Very cool, very interesting. There's some photographers out there very fashionable, very aware of these little minuscule things like the shoulder, the neckline, the collarbone, all these things, and I see it like, wow, like these fools know. But it's like, I'm sure that they honed in on it.
Yeah.
You know, that they pay attention to the detail and the whole picture, and it is such an interesting and like holistic thing, photography.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, other than sitting at the table and going on long drives and do self-care and self-reflection within 3 hours of driving,
you mean in the past week?
Yeah. Or just in general, or like soap making or booking experiences or doing trips. It's like all grateful and showing gratitude that we have designed a life to have the ability to do these things.
To do that,
in midweek or spontaneously still.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, to go make soap on a Friday.
Yeah.
Random.
Yeah. Or for you to have coffee roasting days. It's like,
like
all of that, right?
Yeah.
For me to swim at 9 in the morning.
And no one's there.
And no one's there.
And it's peaceful.
Like,
and it's
things
beautiful.
like that. So,
yeah,
you kind of just
moments.
build your own world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember them when...
But you built your own world that fits you. That...
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you built your own world that fits you. But
but you can forget.
Yeah.
You can easily forget, and you cater to everybody, and you know, oh, am I doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing? And then you forget, and then you're drained, and then. But I feel now finally my cup is filling. Wounds are finally healing. Then like I was saying, like I don't know why it felt like it kept reopening wounds and stuff. And I was like, man, what is it? I couldn't put my finger on it. I don't think we needed a break from the show, which was good, because you were like, I'm not feeling it today, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it if you're not down. I'm always down to do it, but that's my I always like to do this sort of thing, and I also have to remember to take breaks from it also, because you can burn out of this, which I think that's what happened. So we had a 2-week break where I wasn't so strict about it, and not feeling like, oh, we're not doing it, like, does that mean like Chi doesn't want to talk to me? Or not like I said that, but like I'm sure I would have said that in the past maybe. But yeah, now as my cup's filling, I feel like I'm slowly getting back to me. And I think that's why my body's also it's like going through a lot of shock, like going through the spasms or going through pain or whatever. But also to know, like, even though that was the worst, I also didn't feel sad about it this time. I was just like, it's going to get better. Like, it's annoying, but...
it's just you've been through the rodeo so many times. So.
Yeah, it was just, that, like, of course, you're tired, of course. So stop working and just take some breaks. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a habit of making everything very dramatic and being like, oh my God, like everything is falling apart. My body's falling apart. But I really think that it was just like, dude, you're tired. Like, you just need to take a break. You need to not work so long. You need to not sit in this chair and do the podcast, saying no to things like that, but being okay with it.
Yeah.
And not feeling guilty. I think guilt for me is like number one that keeps me working when I'm still hurting, and then I injure myself further, or making or thinking of things that are not true about you or about our relationship. They're guilt based. So I'm like, oh, why do I think like that? Like, just, it's not true. I made it true for some reason, because of my own fear or my own insecurity or whatever, or my own hurt. So now I feel like I'm getting back to me.
Well, that's good.
What do you feel on your end? Because obviously my attitude affects the way I think you can enjoy your downtime.
Yeah.
You keep asking me to go out places. I'm like, dude, I can't.
Yeah.
It's painful.
Well, I mean, it also keeps me in check as well, because sometimes I have tendencies of always wanting to go out and eat, but then I know, like, in the back of my mind that I shouldn't, and I should always kind of, it's just an old habit, right? And I progressed for 2 years of staying in shape, and I don't want to ever go back whatever happened 3 years ago.
Really hard for it, right?
Yeah, so I was like, it is my old self coming back sometimes that I want to go out and eat, but I know I shouldn't. So things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and me not feeling guilty when I say no. That was a big one for me, because I know food brings you joy. Yeah. And I'm like, I do want to, like, anything that I can do, because I'm on your team. I always feel like I want to do the things.
There's a lot of there's a lot of self-control for me to food, and oftentimes when I drive past our home, or I mean not past our home, but on the way home, I see Popeyes, and I'm like, should I get some for myself? And I'm like, no. All right, and then I just keep on going. I'm like, fuck that. No. Yeah, it's like a lot of, like, self-control, like in and out, like my favorite stuff to eat, right? And I'm like, no, we have food at home. You cooked food for me, and I was like, yeah, like I have to go home and I have to eat it, right? And it's not like I don't like it. I love it. Yeah. But it's just like I love variety. Yeah. And which is bad, and you always say, that's why people like have cancer or whatever, because they have eat too many
not
different
cancer, but just like
whatever they just eat so many different things, right? And they become intolerable to those foods. So I was like, no, I should just eat one thing as well. So I just need to train myself and my mind that, and which I have. I've been eating sandwiches for the past year and a half, like. But it's cool, sandwich is still very tasty. I just need to find something that's cool about it, like peppercorn turkey.
How can I mix up this? I know.
Yeah. But either way, like that part, I'm grateful of that. Since I met you, you're able to cook and make home cooked meals, which is never anything I was brought up with. Right. So. When you started to cook, when you started cooking with us, cooking for us, I felt like it was healthier. Yeah. But then the eating out part still gets to me every now and then, and it was just self-control mainly for the past 2 years, and still presently. But I think by sometime next year, it may fade out. That it's just the breakthrough. And it's slowly like breaking through a little, where there's often times I don't even think about food anymore. I just like freaking go work out and go work out, go work. Like I don't even think about the food part or what type of food I'm eating that day. Like it kind of just got
I'm doing the same thing.
It kind of just got muddled, or it's just
muted.
It got muted, where you don't really care what you're eating, and you're just
I'm just
going
grateful
on.
It's food.
You're just blocking that part out of your daily life, and just moving on to other things that are more interesting, like roasting or making soap, in replacement of thinking what food you're going to eat.
It's stressful. It's stressful thinking what you're going to eat. And then if you don't get it, being disappointed or being not satisfied, that's the worst.
So, taking the emotion, like you've been doing, is taking the emotions off of food.
Right.
Right?
Even when I eat pizza, I'm not like even
satisfied
saying,
anymore.
I'm not saying like,
Yeah.
oh, the pizza.
Like the pizza that I picked up, I was like, meh. Like before, I would have like, yeah, but I'll still eat
I thought
it.
you did that because it's like it has all that weird cheese on
It did have a lot of that cheese, and
That helped, didn't it?
that helped a lot. It totally like discouraged me from eating or touching that
But
entire
if you ate
pizza.
my pizza, that pizza was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like muting it, and it's not everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
It's one part of life, and I'm grateful that this food is just here. Some people don't have food, right? Like we have food, and it's always available to us, honestly. So that's something to be grateful for. Some people don't have anything.
Yeah.
Scott. So just to get some perspective, like when you're bored with your food, just be grateful you even have some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or with anything.
Yeah, with anything. Just be grateful you have work. If you're bored with your work or frustrated with your work,
Yeah.
be grateful you have some work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that wraps it up for today.
Yep. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in.
That was a good break into
Past the
it
aisle.
was only an hour. Good. Yeah. All right, cool. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.